When you want to become stronger physically, what do? You lift weights. You push your body to its limits. You embrace the burn, the struggle, the fatigue. You understand that growth happens on the other side of comfort. So why, when it comes to our minds, do we seek only comfort? We run from stress, we avoid challenges, and we turn away from any situation that makes us feel uneasy. But I tell you this, to become mentally strong, you must embrace discomfort as your greatest teacher. The mind, left to its own devices, will always seek the path of least resistance. It will tell you to hit the snooze button. It will tell you to avoid that difficult conversation. It will whisper that you are too tired to work on your goals after a long day. This is the mind in its weakest state, a servant to fleeting emotions and desires. But the warrior monk, the mentally strong individual, knows better. They understand that discomfort is not an enemy to be vanquished, but a tool to be used. They see the cold shower not as a punishment, but as a practice of will. They see a challenging task not as a burden, but as an opportunity to build resilience. Think of your mind as a muscle. If you never stress it, it will atrophy. It will become weak and brittle, unable to handle even the smallest of challenges. But if you intentionally place it in uncomfortable situations, if you practice doing the things you don't want to do, if you choose to face your fears instead of running from them, it will grow stronger. The more you sit with discomfort, the more you learn that it cannot harm you. You learn that the initial feeling of dread or anxiety is just a sensation, a signal from a part of your brain that is trying to keep you safe. But you, the conscious observer, can choose to override that signal. You can choose to act in spite of it. This is the first and most powerful step towards mental fortitude. It is the understanding that true growth is found not in a state of comfort, but in a state of deliberate, purposeful struggle. Every time you choose to do the hard thing, every time you choose to sit with a painful emotion without reacting, you are lifting a mental weight. You are building the strength that will serve you when the real trials of life arrive. Do not run from discomfort. Seek it out, for it is the fire that forges steel. The second secret, a cornerstone of mental strength, is the mastery of your focus. In our modern world, we are under constant assault by distractions, notifications, alerts, endless streams of information. All of it is designed to pull your attention away from what truly matters. We believe we are in control of our minds, but in truth, our minds are a battlefield where 1,000 different forces are fighting for our attention to become mentally strong. You must reclaim this battlefield. You must become the general of your own mind. A distracted mind is a weak mind. It is a mind that cannot stay on a single task, that cannot endure the long, tedious hours required for true mastery of a craft. The mentally strong individual, on the other hand, understands that their focus is their most precious resource. They have trained themselves to direct their attention with the precision of a skilled archer. They know that to achieve anything of significance, they must learn to do one thing at a time and to do it with their full and undivided attention. This is not a mystical power. It is a skill that can be trained. The simplest way to begin this training is to start with the smallest of tasks. When you drink your tea, just drink your tea, feel the warmth of the cup, smell the aroma, taste the flavor. Do not check your phone. Do not think about the meeting you have later. For those few moments, be present. This is not just a mindfulness exercise. It is a weightlifting session for your focus. When you sit down to work, eliminate all distractions, put your phone away, close all unnecessary tabs on your computer. Create a space for your mind to do its work without being pulled in a dozen different directions. The Shaolin monk trains for years to control their focus through meditation, through repetition of forms, through the very rhythm of their daily lives. They learn to bring their mind back to the present moment over and over again. They understand that the mind's nature is to wander, to explore variety, but they also understand that commitment, the singular point of focus, is what grounds the mind. This practice is not about forcing your mind into submission. It is about gently but firmly guiding it back to its task, Each time you notice your mind wandering and you bring it back to the present moment, you are strengthening the mental muscle of focus. This is the foundation of self-discipline, the wellspring from which all great achievements flow. A mind that cannot focus is a mind that is at the mercy of the world. A mind that can focus is a mind that can shape the world. The third secret of becoming mentally strong is to shift your mindset from a focus on the outcome to a deep, profound appreciation for the process. In our results-driven society, we are constantly fixated on the end goal. We want the promotion, the perfect body, the beautiful relationship. We put all our energy into visualizing the destination, but we neglect the path that leads there. This creates a fragile mind, one that is easily broken by setbacks and disappointments. Why? Because when we are fixated on the outcome, any deviation from our expected path feels like a failure. Any challenge feels like a roadblock instead of a natural part of the journey. A mentally strong person understands that the process is the prize. They find joy and fulfillment in the daily work, in the small incremental steps that lead to mastery. They understand that the person they become on the journey is far more valuable than the destination itself. They are not defined by their successes or failures, but by their commitment to the work. When you embrace the process, you become resilient. A setback is no longer a personal defeat, it is simply a data point, an opportunity to learn and adjust. A failure is not the end of the world, it is a necessary part of the journey, a lesson that had to be learned. Think of a martial artist. They do not become a master overnight. They spend years on the same basic movements, the same stances, the same forms. They do not get bored because they are not focused on the black belt. They are focused on the perfect execution of the punch, the fluidity of the stance, the synchronization of their mind and body. They understand that the discipline of the practice is what creates the master, not the belt. The belt is just a symbol of the time they have spent on the process. This shift in perspective is incredibly liberating. It frees you from the pressure of perfection and the fear of failure. It allows you to find peace in the work itself. When you learn to love the process, the early mornings, the late nights, the consistent effort, you become unstoppable. You are no longer dependent on a specific outcome for your happiness or your self-worth. You are finding fulfillment in the very act of striving. And when you are no longer chained to the destination, you are free to explore unexpected paths. You are open to the unexpected gifts that the journey has to offer. So, learn to fall in love with the work, love the discipline, love the struggle. For in the heart of the process, you will discover a strength that no single outcome could ever provide. The journey is not just the means to an end, it is the very purpose. The fourth secret of mental strength is the cultivation of deep, honest self-awareness. We often believe we know ourselves, but the truth is, most of us live our lives on autopilot, driven by subconscious habits, unconscious fears, and emotional triggers we don't even recognize. To become mentally strong, you must be willing to turn the light inward. You must become a silent observer of your own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. This is not about judgment, it is about pure, honest observation. A person with low self-awareness is like a ship without a rudder. They are tossed about by the storms of their own emotions. They react impulsively, speak without thinking, and are easily swayed by the opinions of others. But a person who has cultivated self-awareness is the master of their own vessel. They can see the storm coming. They can anticipate their own emotional triggers and choose how to respond rather than simply reacting. This is the difference between being a slave to your mind and being its master. The practice of self-awareness starts with stillness. It can be as simple as sitting quietly for a few minutes each day and just observing your thoughts. Do not try to stop them, just watch them as they come and go. Notice the patterns. What thoughts arise when you are stressed? What emotions surface when you feel challenged? What narratives do you tell yourself about your own abilities and limitations? This practice is like cleaning the dust off a mirror. As the dust settles, you begin to see a clearer reflection of who you are, what you truly desire, and what holds you back. Through self-awareness, you will discover your 5 hindrances, as they are known in Shaolin philosophy. The hindrances are not external, they are internal states of mind that block your progress. They are sensual desire, ill will, restlessness, sloth, and skeptical doubt. By simply becoming aware of these states when they arise, you diminish their power. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. By bringing them into the light of your awareness, you can begin to work with them, to understand them, and ultimately to let them go. You stop identifying with them. You realize, I am not my fear. I am not my anger. I am not my doubt. This separation, this non-identification, is the ultimate source of mental freedom. It is the realization that while you cannot control the thoughts that enter your mind, you can absolutely control how you respond to them. Self-awareness is the foundation of all mental and emotional control. It is the practice that allows you to find the answers within yourself and to live from a place of strength and clarity, not from a place of blind reaction. The 5th and final secret of becoming mentally strong is to embrace the power of a disciplined routine. We often see routine as a form of imprisonment, as something that stifles creativity and spontaneity. But a mentally strong person understands that a disciplined routine is not a cage, it is a foundation, it is the scaffolding that allows you to build a life of purpose and freedom. Without a routine, our lives are dictated by chaos and external forces. We are constantly making decisions about the small things, draining our mental energy for the big things. A routine frees up your mental bandwidth. It automates the decisions about when to wake up, when to exercise, when to work, and when to rest. It allows you to conserve your will for the moments that truly matter. It is the practice of doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It is a daily commitment to your own growth and well-being. The Shaolin monk lives by a strict routine. They wake early, they train, they meditate, they work, they rest. This routine is not for show. It is the practice that cultivates a calm, focused, and powerful mind. It is a way of life that teaches them that discipline is not a punishment, but a path to liberation. By mastering the small things, by keeping your living space clean, by following a simple daily plan, you are training yourself to handle the big things. You are building the internal capacity to handle the complexities and challenges of life. The world wants you to be a consumer, a passive recipient of information and stimulation, but a routine makes you a creator. It forces you to be intentional about how you spend your most valuable resources, your time and your energy. It grounds your mind onto a singular point of focus, preventing it from wandering into a state of indecisiveness and distraction. So, start small. Create a simple morning routine. Commit to it absolutely. Do it for 1 week, then 2. As you see the power of that small commitment, you will gain the confidence to expand it. You will realize that the discipline of routine is not a restriction but a source of profound power. It is the daily practice that transforms you from a person who reacts to life into a person who creates it. It is the rhythm of a mentally strong life.